Dog spends hours staring at wall. When owner decided to open, he broke down in tears. When Gerald set up a camera to understand why his dog had been staring at the same spot for days, he never expected what he would uncover. The mysterious figure captured in the footage compelled him to break through the wall, determined to find out what lay hidden inside. What he discovered left him in tears. On a peaceful autumn afternoon, the sun bathed the streets of Willowdale in a warm golden glow. Gerald, a 29-year-old programmer who had recently left the fast-paced city life for the quiet charm of the countryside, stood by his window, taking in the serenity of his new home. His life had been filled with rapid changes and impulsive decisions, but this one felt like the right choice more than any before. Gerald wasn't embarking on this new journey alone. Beside him, sprawled on an old rug, lay Booker, a black-furred dog with eyes so expressive they seemed to hold unspoken wisdom. Booker had come into Gerald's life like a beacon of hope, a rescue from the local shelter, who, with his unwavering loyalty and unique charm, quickly became more than just a pet. He became a true friend. Lately, however, Booker's strange behavior had begun to unsettle Gerald's newfound peace. The dog would spend hours fixated on a single spot on the living room wall. At first, Gerald found it amusing, even intriguing, but as days passed, curiosity gave way to growing concern. "Booker, what's with this wall?" Gerald asked, approaching to examine the spot Booker was fixated on. There was nothing obvious there, just a smooth expanse painted light blue, without any signs of dampness, cracks, or any other visible defects. For a moment, Gerald crouched down beside Booker, trying to see the world through his companion's eyes. "Are you seeing something I'm not, buddy?" he questioned, half serious, half jokingly. Booker glanced at Gerald before returning his gaze to the wall, as if aware of his silent mission. Determined, Gerald ran his hand over the cold surface. "Maybe it's an infestation," he muttered, unsettled. Tapping lightly, he listened. Everything seemed normal until a faint scratching sound reached his ears. "Did you hear that, Booker?" he whispered. The dog's ears perked up, his tail wagging slightly in encouragement. Gerald knew he had to investigate. Little did he realize he was about to uncover something unimaginable. The next morning, storm clouds loomed over Willowdale. Inside, tension hung thick as Booker resumed his vigil by the wall. Watching him, Gerald took a deep breath, grabbed a flashlight, and prepared to uncover the truth. "Let's see what's behind your mystery, Booker," he said, feeling a mixture of excitement and a slight tremor of anxiety. Crouching down beside Booker, Gerald began to inspect the wall more closely. He slowly moved the flashlight over the blue paint, the light revealing every tiny detail of the wall's texture. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary until a small scratch caught his attention. Gerald focused the light on that area, his brow furrowing in confusion. The scratch was subtle, almost imperceptible, but it was definitely there. He ran his fingers delicately over it, feeling the slight roughness beneath his fingertips. Booker watched as Gerald tapped along the wall, pausing at a hollow-sounding spot. "Did you hear that, Booker?" he whispered, nerves creeping in. Booker's eyes locked onto his, urging him forward. Pressing his ear to the wall, Gerald caught a faint scratching sound. A shiver ran down his spine. "Booker, there's something behind this wall," he murmured, torn between fear and curiosity. Booker let out a steady bark, his tail wagging once. Determined, Gerald grabbed a hammer and chisel from the garage. Taking a deep breath, he gave a careful tap, cracking the plaster slightly. "Here we go, Booker," he said, a mix of excitement and hesitation. Curiosity and Booker's persistence pushed him onward. With each tap, a piece of the wall came loose, revealing more of the mystery Booker had discovered. Gerald could only hope he was prepared for the truth behind the blue wall. After carefully removing a few more pieces of plaster, Gerald began to realize that the space behind the wall was larger than he had imagined. The darkness concealed the details, and the beam of his flashlight seemed almost swallowed by the shadows. Booker, with his head held high, watched every move, his focus intense and unwavering. Gerald's heart pounded as he widened the hole, releasing cold, stagnant air. His flashlight revealed a dusty cavity, likely an old renovation remnant. Determined to investigate, he set up a night vision camera. As rain pattered outside, Gerald slept fitfully, often waking to check the footage while Booker remained alert. Deep into the night, an alert jolted him awake. Playing the footage, he saw a quick, shadowy figure flicker across the screen, undeniably real. His heart skipped a beat. "Booker, you were right," he whispered. The dog let out a satisfied bark. By morning, Gerald knew he needed help and called a friend in construction. "Keith, I need a favor. Can you come to take a look at something strange in my house?" He quickly explained the situation, omitting for now the part about Booker being the discoverer of the mystery. When Keith arrived, armed with more appropriate tools and a curiosity as sharp as Gerald's, they prepared to explore the mystery that Booker had discovered. What they would find there could simply be the result of a quirk in the house's construction or something truly unexpected. "Ready to find out what's hidden behind your wall?" Keith asked as he prepared the equipment. "Absolutely," Gerald replied, though his voice betrayed a slight hesitation. "But something tells me we're about to uncover something more surprising than just old pipes." Booker wagged his tail eagerly as Gerald and Keith prepared to investigate further. Keith brought an inspection camera, its small light perfect for navigating tight spaces. "Let's see what we've got," he said, carefully inserting it into the hole. The screen flickered, revealing swirling dust and darkness. Booker watched intently as the men leaned in, anticipation rising. Suddenly, something appeared. Gerald and Keith exchanged startled glances. The camera had captured a small opening, almost like a hidden entrance. "There's more than just empty space back there," Keith muttered, adjusting the view. Adjusting the focus, the light revealed a space that seemed to be a small cavity, possibly an old hiding place or a niche forgotten during a previous renovation. Inside the cavity, something glimmered faintly when touched by the light. "Do you see that?" Gerald asked, his voice low, almost a whisper, pointing to the screen where a small object reflected the light. "Yeah, looks like there's something there," Keith agreed, maneuvering the camera to get a better view. The object was small and circular, with a metallic gleam. It looked like a coin or a medallion, something definitely out of the ordinary to be hidden inside a wall. Intrigued and now more curious than ever, Gerald looked at Booker, who still stared at the wall. "Good job, boy," he murmured, giving the dog a pat on the head. Booker responded with a slight wag of his tail. Gerald and Keith widened the opening, and Gerald's heart pounded as he reached in, grasping something cold and metallic. Pulling it out, he revealed an old medallion, heavy with inscriptions, and an aged patina, possibly a ceremonial artifact or family heirloom. "This is worth investigating," Keith said, fascinated. "You may have found a piece of local history." Gerald nodded, still in awe and grateful for Booker's role in the discovery. "Let's learn more," he said. As they planned their next steps, Booker lay contentedly nearby. Then, a soft, muffled meow echoed from the hidden space. Gerald froze, medallion in hand, exchanging a wide-eyed glance with Keith. "Did you hear that?" he asked, his voice filled with surprise and concern. Keith, who had also heard the sound, nodded. "Sounds like there's something alive in there." Booker, who had seemed relaxed until then, suddenly became alert again and started to bark softly toward the opening in the wall. Encouraged by Booker's reaction, Gerald approached the wall again. Flashlight in one hand and the medallion in one hand, Gerald carefully illuminated the inside of the hidden space, moving the light until the beam caught a pair of reflective eyes shining in the darkness. A small cat, clearly frightened and confused, was huddled in the farthest corner of the cavity. "My God, it's a kitten!" Gerald exclaimed, a mixture of relief and urgency in his voice. "How did he end up in there?" Keith, less surprised but equally concerned, grabbed a pair of gloves from his toolbox. "Let's get him out of there. He looks scared and probably hungry." Gerald carefully reached out, and after a brief hesitation, the kitten allowed him to pick it up. Holding it gently, he stepped back and placed it on the floor. Booker sniffed curiously, and though the kitten arched at first, it soon relaxed. "We should take him to the vet," Keith said, watching the kitten explore, "and figure out if he has an owner." Gerald nodded. "We also need to learn more about this medallion and how they both ended up in the wall." After securing the medallion and arranging a carrier, they headed to the car. As the sky over Willowdale cleared, they arrived at the vet's office, where Dr. Peter gently examined the kitten, ensuring it was safe and healthy. "He's a bit dehydrated and hungry, but otherwise, he seems healthy," Dr. Peter informed Gerald after a series of tests. "Do you know if he has an owner?" Gerald asked, hopeful that the cat had a home to return to. "No microchip, and he doesn't have a collar. He seems to be a stray kitten, but he's quite friendly, which indicates he had positive human contact before, explained Dr. Peter. Gerald looked at the kitten playing with a paper ball on the floor of the office. "Looks like we have a new member of the family," he said, smiling as Booker, who had followed the whole process with a protective interest, wagged his tail. Dr. Peter smiled. "He's lucky you found him. It seems like he and Booker are already getting along well." Back at home, Gerald set up a comfortable corner for the kitten with a bed, food, and water. Booker watched every move, making sure his new friend was comfortable. The adaptation was surprisingly easy. The kitten, whom Gerald decided to name Cody, quickly felt at home, exploring every corner with childish curiosity and playing with Booker as if they had always been siblings. In the days that followed, as Cody adjusted to his new home, Gerald delved into researching the mysterious medallion. Online searches and discussions with local history experts suggested it might belong to a set of historical artifacts, possibly linked to a prominent family from the past. Intrigued by the potential significance of his discovery, Gerald reached out to a local university specializing in archaeology. The experts were eager to investigate and soon scheduled a visit to examine the medallion and uncover the origins of the hidden compartment in the wall. On the day of the visit, experts confirmed that the medallion was a significant historical artifact, likely hidden as part of a tradition to protect valuables during times of conflict in the region. The discovery not only expanded Willowdale's historical knowledge, but also attracted scholars and history enthusiasts, putting the small town on the map. As Gerald processed the impact of his find, he felt grateful for Booker, and, indirectly, Cody for leading him to uncover a long-lost piece of history. As Gerald watched Booker and Cody sleeping peacefully side by side, he realized life in Willowdale had become far more fulfilling than he ever imagined. With his home now full of life and its mysteries uncovered, he felt a deep sense of belonging. He knew that his adventures with Booker and Cody were just beginning, and he eagerly anticipated the discoveries the future would bring. What an incredible story! If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment below. See you in the next video.